Daniel Wright was the perfect picture of success. At 38 years old, he ran Horizon Technologies as its CEO. The company made security software and was worth billions. Daniel always wore expensive suits. He spoke with confidence. Business magazines often put his face on their covers. Olivia Johnson was 35 and just as successful in her own way. She worked as a marketing executive after getting her degree from Harvard. She had helped many companies sell their products better. Her warm smile made people trust her right away. Her smart ideas helped businesses grow. As a black woman in the business world, she had faced many challenges, but she always overcame them with grace. They first met 3 years ago at an event to raise money for charity. Daniel noticed Olivia right away. He liked how smart she was and how she carried herself with confidence. Olivia wasn't sure about dating such a famous businessman at first. She worried about the attention it might bring. But Daniel kept talking to her, making her laugh and showing interest in her thoughts. After a few weeks, she agreed to have dinner with him. Their first date lasted 5 hours. They talked about everything, their childhood dreams, favorite books, and what they wanted in life. Daniel was surprised by how easy it was to talk to Olivia. Most women he dated seemed more interested in his money or status. Olivia challenged his ideas and made him think differently about things. For Olivia, Daniel seemed different from other powerful men she had met. He listened when she spoke. He asked questions about her work and seemed truly interested in her answers. When she told him about the barriers she had faced as a black woman in corporate America, he didn't dismiss her experiences or get defensive. Their relationship grew quickly. After 6 months, Daniel gave Olivia a key to his penthouse apartment. At 1 year, they started talking about their future together. And after 18 months, on a night when the city lights sparkled below them, Daniel got down on one knee in his private rooftop garden and asked Olivia to marry him. "You make me want to be better," he told her as he held out a ring with a diamond that caught the moonlight. "I want to build a life with you." Olivia said yes through happy tears. That night, as they celebrated with champagne, they talked about their wedding plans, where they might live, and even what they would name their future children. News of their engagement spread fast. Business papers wrote about them. Social media buzzed with pictures of the power couple. They appeared at charity events together, both of them glowing with happiness. People called them relationship goals and praised Daniel for finding a partner who matched him in drive and intelligence. They set their wedding date for the following spring at a beautiful oceanside property. Olivia started looking at wedding dresses with her sister Tanya. Daniel talked with his parents about flying in relatives from across the country. Everything seemed perfect, but small problems started to appear. Olivia didn't notice them at first, or maybe she chose not to see them. When they attended the annual golf club dinner where many of Horizon's older investors were members, Daniel introduced Olivia to everyone as Olivia Johnson, the marketing genius, instead of my fiancée. When she asked him about it later, he said he wanted people to respect her professional achievements first. When they were invited to the home of Harold Pierce, Horizon's biggest investor, Daniel asked Olivia if she would mind toning down her outfit and jewelry. "Pierce is very old-fashioned," he explained. Olivia wore a simple black dress instead of the colorful one she had planned. Then there was the strange phone call she overheard one night. Daniel was in his home office, door slightly open. "I understand your concerns," he was saying to someone, "but I assure you my personal choices won't affect the company's direction." When she asked who he was talking to, he said it was just a nervous investor worried about market changes. Olivia also noticed that Daniel had stopped posting pictures of them together on his social media accounts. His explanation was that he wanted to keep his personal life private. This seemed reasonable, so she didn't question it. 3 months before their wedding, Daniel started acting more distant. He worked later hours. He missed dinner plans. When they were together, he checked his phone constantly. Olivia worried he was having second thoughts about getting married. "Is everything okay?" she asked one night as they lay in bed, a foot of space between them that hadn't been there before. "Just work stress," Daniel said, not meeting her eyes. The new product launch is a big deal, and the board has been difficult lately. Olivia tried to be understanding. Running a major company wasn't easy. She offered to help with his stress, suggested they take a weekend away, but Daniel always had a reason why now wasn't a good time. What Olivia didn't know was that Daniel was having regular meetings with his board of directors about her. George Hampton, the 72-year-old chairman of the board, had pulled Daniel aside after seeing their engagement announcement. "She's a lovely girl, I'm sure," Hampton had said, swirling his whiskey. "But have you considered how this looks to our more traditional clients? Horizon has always projected a certain image." Daniel had defended Olivia at first. He talked about her accomplishments, her character, how she made him happy. But as weeks passed, more board members expressed similar concerns. Harold Pierce even hinted that his continued investment might depend on the direction of the company's public image. The pressure built slowly. Daniel told himself he was just making small compromises to keep peace with the old guard. He didn't see how each small betrayal was adding up, eroding the foundation of trust he had built with Olivia. 2 months before their wedding, Olivia posted on her personal social media account about her support for a racial justice initiative. The post was thoughtful and professional, but it generated some debate in the comments. The next day, Daniel asked if she might consider making her accounts private. "Some of our investors are very politically sensitive," he explained. "It might be better to keep certain opinions private once you're the wife of Horizon's CEO. For the first time, Olivia felt truly uneasy. "Are you asking me to silence myself about things I believe in?" "Of course not," Daniel said quickly. "Just to be more strategic about how and where you express those beliefs." Olivia agreed to think about it, but the conversation left her troubled. That night, she called her sister, Tanya. "Do you think I'm overreacting?" Olivia asked after explaining the situation. "Listen to your gut," Tanya said. "If something feels wrong, pay attention to that feeling." The annual Horizon Technologies charity benefit was approaching fast. It was the biggest social event of the year for the company. Everyone who mattered in the business world would be there. Olivia had helped plan parts of it, working with the company's event team even though she had no official role at Horizon. Despite the growing distance between them, Olivia was excited about the event. She bought a beautiful deep blue gown that made her feel confident. Maybe a night of celebration would help bring back the closeness she and Daniel once shared. The night of the benefit, Daniel seemed nervous. He checked his appearance in the mirror more times than usual. In the car on the way to the Grand Plaza Hotel, he kept tapping his fingers on his knee and checking his phone. "Is everything okay?" Olivia asked, putting her hand on his. Daniel looked at her with an expression she couldn't read. For a moment, his face softened, and he seemed about to say something important. Then his phone buzzed with a message. He glanced at it, and his face changed again. "Everything's fine," he said. "Tonight will be memorable." As they arrived at the hotel, Daniel squeezed her hand. "No matter what happens," he said, "remember that some choices aren't really choices at all." Olivia didn't understand what he meant, but she smiled and squeezed his hand back. They walked into the ballroom together, Olivia unaware that in just a few hours, her life would change forever. The Grand Plaza Hotel ballroom sparkled with lights and wealth. Over 300 people filled the room. Business leaders, politicians, and rich investors moved around in expensive clothes. Women wore diamonds. Men wore watches that cost more than cars. Olivia stood near the entrance with Daniel, greeting guests as they arrived. She looked beautiful in her deep blue gown. Several people complimented her on how she had helped organize the event. She smiled and thanked them, feeling proud of her work even though she had no official job at Horizon Technologies. "You've made tonight perfect," Daniel told her, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. He kept looking around the room, checking who was watching them. Harold Pierce, Horizon's biggest investor, arrived with his daughter Rebecca. Rebecca was tall and blonde, wearing a simple but expensive red dress. Harold shook Daniel's hand firmly. "Big night," Harold said, his voice low. "Ready for your speech?" "Everything is prepared," Daniel said. His hand squeezed Olivia's waist, then dropped away. Harold barely looked at Olivia. He moved past her to talk to other guests. Rebecca gave Olivia a small smile that seemed almost sad. Olivia felt a cold feeling in her stomach. Something was wrong. Daniel was acting strange. He kept checking his phone and looking at the stage where he would give his speech later. "Daniel, is everything okay?" Olivia whispered. "Just nervous about the speech," he said. "Let's find our table." They sat at the main table near the front of the room. Daniel's place was at the center with Olivia to his right. But as more people joined their table, Daniel moved to talk to other guests, leaving an empty chair between them. Olivia's friend Kelly sat down beside her. Kelly worked in public relations and had helped Olivia with some of the event planning. "You look amazing," Kelly said. "Everything turned out great." "Thanks," Olivia said. "But Daniel is acting weird. He seems really nervous." Kelly frowned. "I'm sure it's just CEO stress. He has to impress all these rich old men." Dinner was served. Waiters in black and white uniforms brought plates of expensive food. Olivia barely tasted it. Daniel spoke to everyone at the table except her. He laughed at jokes and talked about business, but he didn't look at her once. After dinner, the lights dimmed. A spotlight hit the small stage at the front of the room. The company's marketing director stepped up to the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of Horizon Technologies, Daniel Wright." People clapped as Daniel walked to the stage. He looked handsome and powerful in his dark suit. He smiled at the crowd. His hands held a small stack of note cards. "Thank you all for coming tonight," Daniel began. His voice sounded confident through the speakers. "Horizon Technologies is proud to host this benefit for the 5th year in a row. Thanks to your generosity, we've raised over $2 million for children's education programs." People clapped again. Olivia smiled, feeling proud of what they had accomplished. "Our company continues to grow," Daniel continued. "Our new security software launches next month. Our stock price has never been higher. Horizon Technologies is stronger than ever." He paused, looking down at his cards. When he looked up again, his face had changed. His smile was gone. He looked serious, almost cold. "Tonight I want to speak about alignment of values," he said. "In business, we must ensure that our personal and professional choices support each other. As CEO, I represent Horizon Technologies in everything I do." Olivia felt her heart beat faster. This wasn't part of the speech they had discussed. "With that in mind," Daniel continued, "I want to make a personal announcement." The room went quiet. People stopped drinking their wine and looked at the stage. "My engagement to Olivia Johnson has been terminated. Effective immediately." Olivia froze. The words hit her like a physical blow. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't move. Around her, people gasped. Some turned to look at her with shocked faces. "This decision reflects my commitment to focusing entirely on Horizon's future," Daniel said, still not looking at her. "I believe this change aligns better with the core values that our investors and board members expect from the leadership of this company." The room filled with whispers. Olivia felt like she might throw up. Her hands shook as she gripped the edge of the table. Kelly grabbed her arm, her face showing shock and anger. "I apologize for any confusion," Daniel continued, his voice steady. "I remain dedicated to leading this company with clear focus and without personal distractions." Someone at a nearby table was recording with their phone, pointing it first at Daniel, then at Olivia. Other phones appeared, capturing her humiliation. Daniel finished his speech with something about the company's future plans, but Olivia couldn't hear it through the ringing in her ears. The room seemed to spin around her. She sat perfectly still, her back straight, her face frozen, while inside she was breaking apart. When Daniel finished speaking, people clapped, but the sound was awkward and uncertain. He walked back to the table but sat 3 seats away from Olivia. He immediately turned to talk to Harold Pierce, who was nodding with approval. Kelly leaned close to Olivia. "We should go," she whispered. "Right now." Olivia couldn't move. "In front of everyone," she said, her voice barely audible. "He ended our relationship in front of everyone." More phones were pointing at her. People weren't even trying to hide that they were recording her reaction. The shame burned through her body like fire. With enormous effort, Olivia stood up. Her legs felt weak, but she forced herself to stand tall. She wouldn't cry here. She wouldn't break down in front of these people with their phones and their whispers. "I'll get your coat," Kelly said, standing beside her. Olivia walked toward the exit, her head high. She felt hundreds of eyes watching her. She heard whispers follow her. She didn't look back at Daniel. She didn't run. Each step took all her strength, but she walked with dignity through the ballroom and into the lobby. In the hotel lobby, away from the staring eyes, Olivia's control started to crack. Her hands shook so badly she dropped her small purse. Kelly picked it up and put an arm around her shoulders. "My car is outside," Kelly said. "Let's get you home." "I can't go to our apartment," Olivia said. The thought of going back to the place she shared with Daniel made her feel sick. "He'll come there." "He wouldn't dare," Kelly said, her voice hard with anger. "But you can stay with me tonight." Outside, a few photographers were already waiting. News traveled fast. They took pictures as Olivia and Kelly walked to the car. Olivia kept her face down, letting her hair fall forward to hide her tears. In Kelly's car, Olivia finally broke down. The sobs came from deep inside her, painful and raw. Kelly drove in silence, occasionally reaching over to squeeze Olivia's hand. How could he do this? Olivia gasped between sobs. "In front of everyone. Like I was nothing. Like we were nothing." "He's a coward," Kelly said. "A weak, pathetic coward." Olivia's phone started buzzing with messages and calls. She turned it off without looking at it. She couldn't face anyone right now. She couldn't answer questions or hear sympathy. She just wanted to disappear. At Kelly's apartment, Olivia sat on the couch, staring at nothing. Kelly made tea and put a blanket around her shoulders. The shock was wearing off, leaving a hollow feeling inside. "I should have seen it coming," Olivia said after a long silence. "The way he acted around his investors, the way he started hiding our relationship, I should have known." "This is not your fault," Kelly said firmly. "Don't you dare blame yourself." Olivia's mind kept replaying Daniel's words on stage. Core values. Alignment. She understood now what he had been really saying. She didn't fit the image that Horizon's old, white, conservative board members wanted for their CEO's wife. Her race was a problem for them, and Daniel had chosen them over her. "He made his choice in front of everyone, so I couldn't fight it," Olivia said, the realization hitting her. "So I would just go away quietly. He ambushed me." Kelly turned on her laptop. "It's already online," she said, her voice tight with anger. "The video is spreading." Olivia couldn't look. She didn't want to see herself sitting there shocked and humiliated, while Daniel threw away their future for his career. "I need to call my sister," Olivia said. "Tanya would know what to do." Tanya always knew what to do. As Kelly handed her a phone, Olivia felt something shift inside her. The pain was still there, crushing and raw, but beneath it something else was growing. Anger, determination, a cold, clear certainty that Daniel Wright would not get away with what he had done. "Tanya," she said when her sister answered, "I need a place to stay, and I need the name of that lawyer friend of yours, the one who handles discrimination cases." Tanya didn't ask questions, she just said, "I'll get the guest room ready, and I'll call Patricia Adams first thing in the morning." Olivia nodded, though her sister couldn't see her. "Good," she said, "because this isn't over, not by a long shot." Olivia woke up in her sister Tanya's guest bedroom. For a moment, she didn't remember why she was there. Then the memories rushed back, and pain hit her chest like a physical blow. She grabbed her phone from the bedside table. It had been off all night. When she turned it on, hundreds of notifications appeared. Text messages, missed calls, news alerts. She opened a news website. Her stomach dropped. There was a picture of her and Daniel at the charity event, taken just before his speech. The headline read, "Tech CEO publicly ends engagement to black executive at company event." Olivia threw the phone down. She couldn't read it. Not yet. Tanya knocked softly and entered with a cup of coffee. She sat on the edge of the bed. "How are you holding up?" Tanya asked. "I don't know," Olivia said. Her voice sounded strange to her own ears. "I keep thinking I'll wake up and this will all be a bad dream." Tanya took her hand. "Patricia Adams will be here at 10. She's the best lawyer in the city for cases like this." "Cases like what?" Olivia asked. "I don't even know what to call what happened to me." "Discrimination," Tanya said firmly. "Public humiliation, emotional abuse, maybe more. That's what Patricia will help us figure out." Olivia nodded slowly. "Has he tried to contact me?" "No," Tanya said. "Not a word from him." This hurt more than Olivia expected. After 3 years together, after asking her to marry him, Daniel hadn't even tried to explain or apologize. At 10 o'clock, Patricia Adams arrived. She was a tall woman in her 50s with short gray hair and sharp eyes. She wore a simple black suit and carried a leather briefcase. They sat in Tanya's living room. Patricia recorded their conversation on a small device after getting Olivia's permission. "Tell me everything," Patricia said. "Start from the beginning." Olivia told her story, how she met Daniel, their relationship, the engagement, the small changes in his behavior, the charity event, the public humiliation. Patricia took notes. She asked specific questions about how Daniel acted around his board members and investors. She wanted to know every comment he had made about Olivia's race, her social media posts, her appearance at company events. "Did he ever specifically mention your race as a problem?" Patricia asked. "Not directly," Olivia said. "But he would say things like some of our older investors are traditional, or the board is concerned about our image." I realized too late what he really meant. Patricia nodded. "Let's look at his exact words from that night." They watched the video of Daniel's speech. Olivia had to fight not to look away. Seeing herself sitting there, the shock on her face as he announced their breakup was painful. But Patricia needed to hear his exact words. He said, "The decision reflects my commitment to focusing entirely on Horizon's future and aligns better with the core values that our investors and board members expect," Patricia noted. "This suggests pressure from the board and investors." "But how do we prove it was about my race?" Olivia asked. "We may not have to prove it directly," Patricia said. "We build a circumstantial case based on patterns of behavior, and we look for documentation." Patricia explained that they would file a lawsuit alleging discrimination, defamation of character, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and breach of fiduciary duty, since Olivia had invested in Horizon Technologies at Daniel's urging. "We'll request all emails between Daniel and the board members about you during discovery," Patricia said. "That's where we'll find the truth." Olivia wasn't sure. It seemed like a long shot. But what choice did she have? She couldn't just let Daniel get away with what he had done. While they were talking, Tanya, who had been checking social media, gasped. "You need to see this," she said, showing them her tablet. On the screen was a post from someone named Alex Gardner. The post said, "I worked at Horizon for 5 years until last month. This is exactly how they operate. I have emails between Daniel Wright and board members discussing his relationship with Olivia. They specifically mention concerns about her race. Contact me if you want proof." Patricia immediately sent Alex a private message. Within minutes, they had his phone number. Patricia called him while Olivia and Tanya listened. Alex had been an executive assistant at Horizon. He had access to many sensitive emails. He explained that he had been fired last month after complaining about discriminatory comments from a board member. "I kept copies of emails I thought were problematic," Alex said, "including several about Mr. Wright's relationship with Ms. Johnson." "Are you willing to share these emails?" Patricia asked. "That's why I posted," Alex said. "What they did to her was wrong. I have the emails ready to send." 15 minutes later, Patricia's tablet pinged with an email from Alex. She opened the attached files. Olivia and Tanya read over her shoulder. The first email was from George Hampton, the chairman of the board, to Daniel, dated 6 months ago. "Daniel, Several board members have expressed concerns about the optics of your relationship with Ms. Johnson. While she seems like a fine person, her background and public positions on certain social issues don't align with the image we want for Horizon. Leadership. This could alienate certain demographic segments of our investor base. We should discuss this at our next private meeting. The second email was from Harold Pierce to Daniel, dated 3 months ago. Traditional family values remain important to our core investment philosophy. I must question whether your personal associations align with the company's conservative brand positioning. My daughter Rebecca has expressed interest in learning more about the industry. Perhaps you could mentor her? She shares our vision for the company's future. Most damning was Daniel's response to Hampton. I understand your concerns and am exploring solutions that will better align my personal image with company values. The current arrangement is temporary and will be resolved before the next funding round. I appreciate your patience. Olivia felt sick reading these words. Temporary arrangement. That's all she had been to him. A problem to solve. This is exactly what we need, Patricia said, her eyes gleaming. This proves the board pressured Daniel about your relationship specifically because of your race and your support for racial justice causes. Will these emails be enough? Tanya asked. Combined with the public nature of the breakup and Daniel's own words at the event? Yes, Patricia said. We have a strong case. That afternoon, Patricia drafted the lawsuit while Olivia tried to process what was happening. Her phone kept buzzing with messages from friends and colleagues offering support. Several news outlets had requested interviews. She declined them all. Around 4 o'clock, Tanya came into the guest room with her laptop. The story is everywhere, she said, and public opinion is firmly on your side. Olivia looked at the screen. Social media was exploding with hashtags like Stand with Olivia and Horizon Discrimination. People were canceling their Horizon Technologies accounts and products. The company's stock had dropped 15% since opening. Even more surprising, a new photo had emerged. It showed Daniel having lunch with Rebecca Pierce, the blonde daughter of Horizon's largest investor, the day after the charity event. They were sitting close together at an expensive restaurant. The gossip site that published it asked, CEO's new direction? They already had her lined up as my replacement, Olivia said, her voice hollow. This was all planned. Which makes it even more disgusting, Tanya said. But it also helps our case. The next morning, Patricia returned with the completed lawsuit. Olivia read it carefully before signing. It requested substantial financial damages, a public apology, and reforms to Horizon's corporate practices. Once we file this, there's no going back, Patricia warned. The company will fight hard. They'll try to discredit you. Are you ready for that? Olivia thought about the emails, about Daniel's cold words on stage, about the planned photo op with Rebecca Pierce the very next day. I'm ready, she said, signing her name. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about every person who's been pushed aside because they didn't fit someone's idea of the right image. 3 days later, Patricia filed the lawsuit. Court officers delivered the summons to Daniel's office at Horizon Technologies headquarters. Olivia didn't know it then, but according to Daniel's assistant, who would later speak to the press, when Daniel opened the envelope and saw the court summons, his face went white. He staggered to his chair and fell into it. Then, with the door to his office closed, the powerful CEO who had coldly discarded her in front of hundreds of people began to cry. News of Olivia's lawsuit spread quickly. Every major news channel reported on it. Business magazines that once praised Daniel now questioned his leadership. Social media users shared the story millions of times. Within days, everyone knew about the CEO who had publicly ended his engagement to his black fiancée because of pressure from his board. Horizon Technologies released a short statement. We deny all allegations of discrimination and inappropriate conduct. This is a private matter that has been mischaracterized. We will address these false claims in court. Olivia stayed at her sister's house, away from reporters who camped outside her apartment building. She took a leave of absence from her marketing job. The company understood and promised her position would be waiting when she was ready to return. Patricia Adams, her lawyer, called with updates every day. The case was moving forward faster than normal. The judge assigned to their case. Judge Elaine Martinez had a reputation for taking discrimination cases seriously. Horizon's lawyers have asked for a private meeting, Patricia told Olivia one morning. They want to discuss a settlement. Already? Olivia was surprised. We just filed the lawsuit last week. The bad publicity is hurting them, Patricia explained. Their stock price has dropped 20%. 3 major clients have suspended their contracts with Horizon. They're losing money every day this stays in the news. Olivia thought about it. What kind of settlement are they offering? They want to meet tomorrow to discuss terms, Patricia said. But they've hinted at a substantial financial payment if you sign a non-disclosure agreement and drop the lawsuit. Money and silence, Olivia said. That's what they want? For me to take their money and disappear? That's standard in these cases, Patricia admitted. But you don't have to accept. We have a strong case if you want to go to trial. Olivia wasn't sure what to do. The idea of a trial scared her. She would have to testify to relive the humiliation of that night in front of more strangers. But the thought of Horizon simply paying her off didn't feel right either. Let's hear what they're offering, she decided. But I'm not promising anything. The next day, Patricia met with Horizon's legal team. When she called Olivia afterward, she sounded excited. They're desperate, Patricia said. They're offering $5 million if you drop the case and sign an NDA. $5 million? Olivia was shocked. That was more money than she had expected to make in her entire career. Yes, but there's more, Patricia continued. They want a joint statement saying the breakup was mutual and there was no discrimination involved. Olivia frowned. So they want me to lie, to help them cover up what really happened. Essentially, yes, Patricia admitted. This is about protecting the company's reputation and stock price. What about Daniel? Olivia asked. Would he have to apologize? No. Under their proposal, neither party would admit any wrongdoing. Olivia was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Tell them no. I don't want their money if it means hiding the truth. Patricia sighed. I thought you might say that. I'll tell them we're proceeding with the case. The next day, more emails from Inside Horizon were leaked to the press. These showed conversations between board members after the charity event, congratulating each other on Daniel's handling of the situation and discussing how to manage the optics of his new relationship. With Rebecca Pierce, public outrage grew even stronger. Protesters gathered outside Horizon's headquarters with signs that read, Discrimination is not a business strategy, and Justice for Olivia. Several celebrities and influencers publicly canceled their Horizon products and partnerships. Daniel had not been seen in public since the night of the charity event. According to sources inside the company, he rarely left his office and had canceled all media appearances. Horizon's public relations team was in chaos, trying to control the damage to the company's reputation. Then something unexpected happened. Rebecca Pierce, the woman Daniel had been photographed with after the breakup, gave an interview to a major news channel. I was used as a prop, Rebecca said, looking directly at the camera. My father and the other board members pressured Daniel to end his relationship with Olivia because she is black. They wanted him to date me instead because I fit their idea of what a CEO's partner should look like. I'm disgusted by their actions and my unwitting role in this situation. Rebecca's interview was a bombshell. She revealed that her father, Harold Pierce, had arranged the lunch with Daniel specifically to be photographed together. She had been told it was a business meeting about a potential job at Horizon. She had no idea it was meant to suggest a romantic connection until she saw the photos online. I want to apologize to Olivia Johnson, Rebecca said near the end of the interview. What happened to you was wrong, and I'm sorry for any pain my involvement caused. I've cut ties with my father over this and other racist behaviors I can no longer ignore. The interview changed everything. Harold Pierce issued a statement denying his daughter's claims, but few people believed him. 2 other board members resigned the next day, citing personal reasons. Horizon's stock price fell another 10%. That evening, Olivia received a strange package at her sister's house. Inside was a handwritten letter from Daniel. "Olivia," the letter began, "I still love you. Everything I did was to protect the company. The board threatened to remove me as CEO if I didn't end our relationship. They said they would destroy my career. I was a coward, and I will regret hurting you for the rest of my life. Please call me. I want to make this right." Olivia's hands shook as she read the letter. For a moment, her heart softened. Then she remembered standing in that ballroom, hundreds of eyes on her as Daniel publicly humiliated her. She remembered the emails where he called their relationship a temporary arrangement that would be resolved. She gave the letter to Patricia, who added it to their evidence file. "This is essentially an admission of guilt," Patricia said. "He's admitting he ended your relationship because of pressure from the board, which we've already established was racially motivated." The lawsuit moved forward. During the discovery phase, Horizon was forced to turn over all emails and messages related to Daniel and Olivia's relationship. The evidence was overwhelming. Dozens of messages showed board members and investors expressing concerns about Olivia's race and her support for racial justice causes. One particularly damning email from George Hampton to the entire board read, "A CEO's wife is the face of our company to many important people. Do we want that face to be one that makes our key demographic uncomfortable? I think not." As these emails became part of the public court record, more Horizon employees began speaking out. 5 former employees filed their own discrimination lawsuits claiming they had been passed over for promotions because of their race or gender. The crisis grew so severe that Horizon's largest shareholders called an emergency meeting. They voted to remove the entire board of directors, including Harold Pierce and George Hampton. They also suspended Daniel from his position as CEO pending the outcome of the lawsuit. The new acting board chair, Lisa Winters, reached out to Patricia Adams. "We want to settle this case," she said, "but we want to do it right. No NDAs, no cover-ups. We're prepared to acknowledge the wrongdoing and make substantial changes to our corporate culture." Patricia brought the offer to Olivia. "They're offering $8 million in damages," she said. "But more importantly, they're offering a public apology, Daniel's resignation, and a commitment to implement comprehensive diversity and inclusion programs throughout the company." Olivia considered the offer carefully. "Will they admit it was about race?" she asked. "No vague language about inappropriate conduct or misunderstandings?" "Yes," Patricia confirmed. "The new board wants to clean house completely. They're willing to acknowledge that the previous board and Daniel discriminated against you because of your race." For the first time in weeks, Olivia felt a sense of peace. This wasn't just about money. This was about the truth being recognized, about making sure what happened to her wouldn't happen to someone else. "Tell them I accept," she said. 6 weeks after the charity event that changed her life, Olivia stood in front of the Horizon Technologies headquarters building. She wore a simple white suit that made her dark skin glow in the morning sunlight. Patricia Adams stood beside her, along with Tanya and several other supporters. News cameras pointed at them from every angle. Lisa Winters, the new acting board chair of Horizon, walked out to meet them. She was an older woman with silver hair and kind eyes. She shook Olivia's hand firmly. "Thank you for coming," Lisa said. "We're ready whenever you are." They walked into the building together. Employees stopped to watch as they passed. Some nodded respectfully to Olivia. Others looked away, embarrassed. Everyone knew why she was there. The settlement agreement had been finalized 3 days earlier. Horizon Technologies would pay Olivia $8 million in damages. They would issue a public apology acknowledging the discrimination she had faced. Daniel Wright would resign as CEO. The company would implement new diversity and inclusion programs. And most importantly to Olivia, there would be no non-disclosure agreement. She would be free to tell her story. They entered the main conference room where the press conference would take place. Reporters filled every seat. Cameras lined the back wall. Olivia took a deep breath as she sat at the table in front of the room. Lisa Winters spoke first. "Thank you all for coming. Today, Horizon Technologies acknowledges a grave injustice committed by our former leadership. We have reached a settlement agreement with Olivia Johnson, who was wrongfully and publicly humiliated because of racial discrimination. Lisa continued, reading from a prepared statement. The previous board of directors pressured our former CEO, Daniel Wright, to end his engagement to Ms. Johnson because of her race. This pressure was documented in emails and other communications that have now become part of the public record. These actions were morally wrong and legally indefensible. Camera flashes lit up the room as Lisa spoke. Olivia sat straight and tall, her face calm but her eyes intense. As part of our settlement agreement, Horizon Technologies will pay Ms. Johnson $8 million in damages. We will also implement comprehensive diversity and inclusion programs throughout our company, with regular public reporting on our progress. Daniel Wright has resigned as CEO, effective immediately. Lisa turned to Olivia. On behalf of Horizon Technologies, I offer our sincere apology for the pain and humiliation you experienced. What happened to you was wrong, and we are committed to ensuring it never happens again. Now it was Olivia's turn to speak. She stepped up to the microphone, her heart beating fast but her voice steady. 6 weeks ago, I was publicly humiliated by a man I loved and a company that saw me as a problem because of the color of my skin. Today, I accept Horizon's apology and settlement not just for myself, but for everyone who has ever been pushed aside because they didn't fit someone's idea of the right image. She paused, looking directly into the cameras. This case was never about money. It was about truth. It was about standing up and saying that discrimination is wrong, no matter how powerful the people or companies involved might be. No one should ever have to choose between who they love and how they're seen by others. After the press conference, Olivia felt both exhausted and relieved. It was over. She had won, not just for herself, but for others who might face similar discrimination. The story was being reported around the world. She had already received thousands of messages from people thanking her for her courage and sharing their own stories of workplace discrimination. 2 weeks later, Olivia bought a new house in a quiet neighborhood across town. She needed a fresh start, away from the apartment she had shared with Daniel. She also donated $1 million of her settlement to a foundation supporting Black women in business. She wanted something good to come from her pain. Olivia returned to her marketing job, where she was welcomed back with open arms. Her boss even offered her a promotion, which she accepted. Life was slowly getting back to normal, though she still sometimes woke up at night, remembering Daniel's cold voice on that stage. Then one day, she received a message from Rebecca Pierce, the woman who had been photographed with Daniel after their breakup. "I'm in town for a few days," Rebecca wrote. "I'd like to meet if you're willing. There's something I think you should know." Olivia was curious. Rebecca's interview had been crucial to her case, exposing the truth about Harold Pierce's plans. She agreed to meet at a small cafe the next day. Rebecca looked different in person than she had on TV. She seemed younger, more nervous. She fidgeted with her coffee cup as they sat across from each other. "Thank you for meeting me," Rebecca said. "I wanted to apologize in person for my part in what happened to you." "You didn't know," Olivia said. "You were used too." Rebecca nodded. "Yes, but that's not why I wanted to see you. It's about Daniel." Olivia's stomach tightened at his name. "What about him?" "He's not doing well," Rebecca said. "After he resigned, he disappeared for a while. No one knew where he was. Then last week, I got a call from a mutual friend. Daniel is using most of his money to start a foundation supporting Black entrepreneurs. He's not running it himself. He's hired people who actually know what they're doing, but he's funding it." Olivia wasn't sure how to feel about this information. Part of her was still angry at Daniel. Another part remembered the man she had loved before he betrayed her. "Why are you telling me this?" she asked. "He's trying to make amends," Rebecca said. "Not to win you back, he knows that's impossible, but to do something good with his life after doing something so terrible. He asked me to give you this." Rebecca handed Olivia an envelope. Inside was a check for $5 million, more than half of Daniel's personal wealth, made out to Olivia's new foundation for Black women in business. There was a note with the check. It read simply, "This can't undo what I did. Nothing can. But maybe it can help create the change I was too cowardly to fight for. I'm sorry. Daniel." Olivia stared at the check for a long time. Then she folded it carefully and put it back, in the envelope. "Will you accept it?" Rebecca asked. "Yes," Olivia said after a moment. "Not for him, but for the women it will help." They finished their coffee in silence. As they were leaving, Rebecca asked, "Do you think you'll ever forgive him?" Olivia thought about it. "I don't know. Forgiveness isn't something you can force, but I'm not going to let what he did define the rest of my life. I have too much to do, too much to give." 3 months later, Olivia stood on a stage, addressing a room full of young Black women at the first event sponsored by her foundation. She looked out at their faces, hopeful, determined, ready to change the world, and felt a sense of peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. "Sometimes life breaks your heart," she told them. "Sometimes people you trust let you down. Sometimes systems that should protect you end up hurting you instead. But here's what I've learned. You are stronger than the worst thing that happens to you. Your value isn't determined by how others see you, and sometimes fighting for what's right changes more than just your own story." Later that evening, Olivia checked her phone and saw a news alert. Horizon Technologies had just announced their new CEO, Lisa Winters, the first woman to lead the company in its history. Under her leadership, the company had already increased diversity in senior positions by 40%. Olivia smiled. This was what justice looked like. Not just money in her bank account, but real change that would affect real lives. The pain would always be part of her story, but it wasn't the end of her story. She put her phone away and rejoined the event, listening to a young entrepreneur pitch her business idea with passion and confidence. This was where Olivia belonged, now, helping others find their voice and strength, just as she had found hers. The future stretched out before her, full of possibility. Whatever came next, Olivia Johnson was ready for it.